Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Stratego video. This is going to be another ranked game against Skeptics. God, these names are very difficult to pronounce. And anyhow, yeah, we're against this guy. Pretty similar ranking him to the previous guy we played. I'm using the setup again. I just think it's pretty solid against mid-silver level players. So he's starting off in the center. I always like it when people start off on the right side because that's where all my bombs are, and then I might be able to like get them to like get stuck on that side. So the first attack of the game I do that's a mistake because I leave my general open to scouting, and people if they have a scout in the front row, they will often scout down here because this is sometimes a good piece. Now most players won't let them scout there, but I made that mistake, which is yeah, I just think I wasn't thinking about it, and yeah, you don't want to do something like this. Also, now I can't really like do anything that like won't make it obvious that I'm covering it. Like if I move the scout over, it's kind of obvious. So that was a bit of a mistake. So now I'm just like hoping that piece is not a scout. I realized my mistake. So yeah, you never want to give your opponent opportunities to scout your high-ranking pieces. Even like if you can avoid the like avoid giving them opportunity to scout your high-ranking pieces, then do that because I gave my opponent a free chance to scout my general, and either that wasn't a scout or they just did not want to scout that. But yeah, I got pretty lucky there. So now I'm trying to get this lieutenant out in front of my general, and I did this to like clear up the lane. Okay, so now this is so I said that this move. I'm like, okay, people often have scouts in the center, like he had a scout here in the center, so he may have one here. And since he moved this right, the only reason why he would do that is either getting this out or like scouting my gen. So I had to block it with my colonel. Now thankfully he wasn't trying to scout it, but this is a bad situation already. I really messed up with that captain. But I like to see that, so I like to see them attack on the right side, because then my bombs can get some pieces. So I finally got back into the formation I wanted here, so that's good. So now I have my lieutenant as a buffer, so now he can't really find out any high pieces easily. Like the worst that can happen is like he'll find out a colonel with a captain. So he scouts a bomb. And he found a lieutenant. That was kind of unfortunate. I probably shouldn't have hit that with the sergeant. Like I probably should have either hit it with the scout or a captain, but whatever. So I can take that with my major because the chances of him having a major here are pretty low. It's totally possible. The chances are just pretty low. Sorry, maybe having a colonel here is low. A major here is definitely possible. A captain is totally possible, but who would have a captain behind a lieutenant? So yeah, I'm thinking the chances of a colonel here are almost zero, so I just decided to take it. So that was pretty interesting. He had a major here, so I basically just did the same thing. Except I lost a sergeant because I attacked the lieutenant with the sergeant. So now he wants to trade, and I'm fine with that because I'm just getting pieces out to make sure he can't scout my marshal. So notice how I moved that captain up instead of trading, because if I didn't do that and I traded instead, then he could scout my marshal, and I wouldn't have enough time to like block it. So yeah, I had to make sure. Again, there's another opportunity for him where he could have scouted a good piece. Now I didn't give him the opportunity this time, but yeah, it's just bad to let your opponent do that because if they can get in a good piece, it's much easier for them to like plan their attack. So he decides to trade finally, and now I have my marshal defended. Well, not defended by some pieces, but like I have some pieces as a buffer, like so then my marshal can't get scouted, which is important. So now I look over here. I can hold this entire side with the captain, but I don't really know why I decided to hit that scout, but yeah, that was kind of that was kind of a bad move on my end because yeah, that was just a bad move. I shouldn't have done that because now I'm down a captain. But now I get a free piece. It's just a scout, but it's something. So now you notice how I'm not leaving my marshal covered. It's because I know that this is a colonel, so I don't need to. So yeah, this piece is leading it down. I'm like, okay, well, if it is high ranking, then I wouldn't want him to like. Well, if it isn't high ranking, I wouldn't want him to like lead it to my marshal, because then I would give away that this is a good piece. So, and also it came from the third on the side, so kind of skeptical about it being a good piece, because but that lieutenant is known. So I'm probably thinking, as at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably a captain. Like, well, let's be honest here. So he was a lieutenant. So that's kind of weird because he had lieutenant, scout, lieutenant, and it's just interesting. I moved the scout out, so then my marshal, it's harder for him to scout it. I make sure to match that in case it is a scout trying to scout my marshal. Now this is kind of a mistake because I thought that this was a scout, so I'm like, okay, let's trade, but then it was a miner. So that was a bit of a mistake on my end. So I come up with its colonel to pressure to the side because I know where his colonel is, so I know it's okay. It's not. I'm like, okay. I could get a free piece and then trade colonels, but I don't want to do that because he would get a captain because he got a captain from for revealing his colonel, and then there's I probably wouldn't get something as good, so I didn't want to do that yet. So that was kind of weird. He didn't trade, so basically I got a free sergeant, but I did lose a captain from to his colonel. So that was not like a good trade overall. So here I'm trying to make my marshal look like a bomb because like I moved these 4 or 5 pieces. Yeah, so these 4 pieces. Sorry, these 3 pieces. If this wasn't a bomb, well, I mean, it's not. But like if I chose to move it, then it would be way easier to get these out. So I'm trying to like not move it at all. So then he thinks that it's a bomb, and then he thinks it's okay to move pieces next to it. So then he decides to trade colonels, which is, I mean, that was the right play for him. So yeah. So it looks like he's bringing a lot of pieces over to the left, probably trying to counter whatever I go for over there. So yeah, it looks like he's mounting quite an attack over here because he's like moving away from the center. It's very interesting what he's doing. So I'm like, okay, well he moved this out of the way. And this yeah, so we're playing. I thought it was a good piece. I think it came from like one of these 2 squares. So I thought it might be a good piece, and we find a kernel. So that was really good. So now we know both of his kernels, and that kind of sucks because he was a captain, but you can take it with the kernel. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. So now this is coming down. So while playing, I'm like, okay, this is probably the gen because I thought the marshal was here, but yeah. So that's what I was thinking at this point. Now my gen isn't known, but if it was, he probably would like come in there with a general or a marshal and then like force me to make a choice. So I'm thinking it might be the marshal, just because of like what it's doing. But yeah, so I go in here, take this miner, then he takes that with his gen, and then I retreat. So I took this miner because I was hoping that if this was the marshal, then he wouldn't know that this is my gen, even though it's somewhat obvious. Um, so I was hoping, so I was assuming that this is the marshal. So now I was like, okay, if I take this, then I'll force a response from him. So I did that, but that was kind of risky because if this was the marshal, and it still might be, but if it was, then he could have just gotten a free general. So in my opinion, that was not a great play on my part. I kind of messed up there, but he did not notice. Or maybe that just wasn't the marshal. Wait to see. So I did this because I'm hoping that he's convinced that this is a bomb and that he like goes in because there's like there's a major there, there's a colonel there, and yeah, I'm just hoping that he like just comes in after them. But I think it's not like so I my opinion, I think he was just wary of like every single piece because he's like he's afraid of my scout. This scout came from I think like here or here. Like that's just weird. It wasn't guarding anything to begin with. So it's kind of weird that he was afraid of that, but yeah. So it looks like this guy's just playing like super defensive and just being like afraid of every piece. So I move up next to him and then I'm gonna go left to see if there's a corner flag here because I mean it doesn't hurt. It hasn't moved all game, so it might be. It's a bomb. Corner bombs can sometimes work, but it's I mean yeah I think they're pretty good because your opponent doesn't expect you to have like a bomb in the corner. But I think a bomb like this one is really effective, just because of well people like okay well if you have a triangle here it makes sense. And that I mean like a bomb and flag here, or if you have like a bomb and flag here because it's behind the lake. But no one expects this to be a bomb, which is why it's one of the bombs in my triple horizontal. So he comes in here. So now I have to make a decision. So set, but I actually don't because since I know his general, I believe it's here. Yeah, so since I know his general's here, I don't have to hit this with like my general because it could be the gen. Because I know it's not the gen, so I can just hold here. Like I don't have to do anything. It kind of gives away that this is my spy because like, I'm defending like I'm a colonel and something with my spy because I know his gen. But yeah, so he was there. I figure that I don't need to hit him with that. There's no need to do that. So I just don't hit him. So yeah, he's just like moving that pieces back and forth. It's very weird. Yeah, again, he's debating whether to move his gen next to my marsh. And he's still wary of it, which is very interesting. So now we start some shuffling. So I'm just gonna go past this. Oh yeah, wait. This was important. Okay, so he moves a piece in front of my marshal. So it's this piece and then the generals here. He probably was like, trying to bait me to like take it. But so what do you think this piece is? Like what would it make sense? So it's obviously it's not the spy because who would put a spy like here? I mean, it could be, but it's not very likely. And then do you think it's like the marshal? Do you think it's well it's so it's not a colonel, not a general. We know that because we know his colonel and his gen. So while playing, I was like, okay, this is either a marshal or it's like a scout, or maybe it's a miner trying to like defuse the bomb because he thinks the marshal's a bomb. So it's just more shuffling. Yeah. There's so I tried to him scout because he moved this piece two squares by accident. And obviously all the scouts can move two squares. Okay, so here I bring a miner up because I really want to see what this is. I have no need to attack it right now because if I attack it and it was like say a scout, then it would be kind of obvious that this is my marshal because the den's already known. So if it was a scout, I would just like get taken. So I want to like wait for him to attack me with one of them. So yeah, there I accidentally moved the spy. That was not meant to happen. Okay, yeah, it's just more shuffling. Okay, so finally, so he does something. So he takes the miner with the lieutenant. So while playing, I was like, okay, why is that? Why did he bring a lieutenant down? Like, it doesn't really make much sense because he still has some sergeants, minors, scouts. So I don't really know why he brought a lieutenant down. That kind of just doesn't make any sense. It's like the one piece that would not bring down. Well, other than like a captain or a major, of course. So I decided to take it because I'm like, well, I'm probably not gonna get anything better because he's already wearing this piece, so I might as well take it. Also, I can get like something else over here. So I'm like, okay, I might as well. So I don't want to take this guy. I'd rather take this piece. But now here, I'm like, okay, yes, I forked him, but I didn't because this is probably the spy. He's acting like it is, and judging by this player's playstyle, I think it is because he plays he doesn't really bluff that much. He plays very defensively. I wouldn't say very defensively, but he plays definitely somewhat defensively. So it's important when you think someone might be bluffing. It's important to like consider how they've played the game, because if they like bluff all the time in the game, then it might be a bluff. But if they like have never bluffed in the game, then it probably isn't. So yeah, you gotta consider that kind of thing when you like want to call a bluff. So I considered that, and then I'm like, I don't want to do that because I can still get one of these two for free, so I might as well get this the free scout. So out of that, I got a lieutenant and a scout, so it wasn't really worth it. But now my marshal can control the right side, I guess, so it was something. And also now I know his spy. Well, I mean, at least I assume I do because it's kind of obvious. So here I debate going up. But because then like he would go down, and then I could like go in, and then like get a board position, not like good board position to like get him like in a setup and get him in an awkward spot. But I didn't do that because if I went up, then he could just go spy left and totally get Marshall in a really bad spot, because then I'll be trapped by the spy, and then I'd have to like get the scout out to free myself, and it just wouldn't be good. So yeah, I opted to not do that. So I need to bring my marshal back for defense because now that he knows my marshal, he's going to be coming down the center with his gen. See, I'm bringing my marshal back. He says that, so I'm forced to trade. Alright, now it's coming with them. I believe that's the colonel. And he tried to 2-square my major, so I'm just going to trade with him. So yeah, that was pretty good. Well, I wouldn't say pretty good because I am losing because I'm down a captain. But that was, I mean, it wasn't like bad or anything. Because yeah, being down a captain, I can still totally come back from that. A captain's not that much of a deficit, especially considering him in the end game it's only one piece. So yeah, now you can kind of see why I took that lieutenant with my marshal and revealed it. Even though like sure I could have kept it here like acting like a bomb, but at some point in the game I need to bring it like back for defense, and it would have just become obvious, and I wouldn't have even got a lieutenant for it. I probably would have gotten a scout or something. So yeah, sometimes when it's like mid game, you want to just like really get your pieces for anything, even if it's like a mid range piece, because you're probably gonna end up like revealing them later on in the game for like basically nothing. So yeah, that's a little tip there. That's something I like to do. Because the less pieces on the board, the more obvious your hiring pieces get. Because they'll be like in the center, they'll be like defending pieces, and then if you don't make them obvious, then how do they have them like the back row? Then your board position's super weak. So this was very weird. So I thought that this was a major, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed out on a major with a marshal. Like I kind of like brought something over and trapped a major, but then it was it's just a sergeant, and I don't really understand this move. Because this was kind of an obvious major, because like what else would I bring down there? My marshal's known how highest this could be as a major, so but he just basically sacked the sergeant for no reason. So he finally breaks it open. So I'll just take that with the sergeant, since then he doesn't find, I mean, it doesn't break open both bombs. So this was a bluff all along. It was not the marshal. So that's why he didn't like attack my colonel or anything. So yeah, so there's a captain that took that sergeant. That's not great. So now I can get this minor for free. Because this is obviously the spy. This is obviously the marshal. So I can like work my way to do that because I can. So he's offering me a spy. I mean, sorry, not a spy. He's offering me a minor exchange marshals. So now I'm like, okay, I could get a minor exchange marshals and I can get a spy, so I can get two pieces off the board for free, basically. But I would still be down a captain. So it's kind of like a trade-off that you have to consider. What you would rather have, like, because if I think that I could like get more stuff done with a marshal than that, then I probably wouldn't do it. But if I didn't think so, then I probably would. So yeah, that's something you gotta consider when like your opponent offers you to use some material to trade. So it's gonna exchange scouts with me. I'm totally fine with that because it saves my scout from getting hit by something else. So now this is an interesting point in the game. So I took this minor. Now if he wanted to, he could exchange marshals with me because he could go down. Then like what could I do? Like my best move would be to trade and then like take his spy. Because if I went like say if he went down and then I went major up, then he could go up and then I'll go like down, then he would go left and he would fork me, fork my majors, and that would not be good. So he could go down right now and force a martial exchange if he wanted to. In my opinion, that's what he should have done because he was I'd say he was winning. He was, well, it's debatable, but I'd say he was slightly ahead. I was up a couple like minors and scouts, but he was up a captain, and if he can keep that unrevealed, then that's really good. So I'm like, yes, he's getting a lotto with that. And I'm like holding, like hovering over the bomb, like, come on, buddy. So now I'm like, okay, my major here, it's not really doing much, but I'm pinning his spy because I don't really like, care about that. So I'd rather get it back for defense over here because I might need both majors to swap with him. So he trades. And then he hits his bomb. I was when I saw the attack animation, I was so hyped because I'm like, yes, he ran his major into the bomb, but he did not, unfortunately. But I mean, I got a piece now, and now he's probably like not selecting this at all because he found two bombs here. So he's like, well, what are the chances? So now the spy's coming over, and I think he's trying to like make it look like the spy's a good piece, like his major or something. Or maybe trying to make it look like his marshal or something. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do with the spy. But it's really obvious that it's a spy, so I don't know what he's trying to do. So here I'm trying to lure him so that I can scout the spy. Yeah, and I get him. So I don't really know what the point of this was because the spy was really insanely obvious. But now I can get off the board, and so my marshal can have a bit more free reign. So that was good. So now, do you see? Notice how he moved this piece. So that makes you think that if his flag's bombed in, it's here. End of story. And this player, keep in mind his playstyle. He plays like relatively defensively, so he's the kind of guy to have a bombed in flag. Yeah, it's very important to like consider your opponent's playstyle when you're like board reading them. So we find a minor here. Not the best scouting choice of my life, I will say. Now it's coming down on the right, probably with a major or like a minor to break through the bomb. But I'm here. Notice how I'm inviting him to lotto over here. If I didn't want to do that, I could just move my major over. But I want to keep it here so then he can't like get by and like lotto down here. But I want to invite him to lotto over here if he wants to. So he's running his minor over, maybe trying to like open this bomb like thinking it's the flag or something. And I'm like, come on, lotto here, come on, you know you want to. And then I go next to him, but then I'm like, wait, I don't really want to trade. Yet this guy plays so weird though. He's like he doesn't want to trade, but he doesn't want to like not trade. Like he just wants to stay here. Like this is kind of weird behavior. Now, okay, so pause the video right now. Well, I'll pause it for you. But so what would you do in this situation? So this is probably a major. I'm pretty sure that this is a captain, and then this is a minor coming down here. This is likely the Marshal. It's not confirmed, but it's kind of obvious at this point. So what would you do? So um so the move that I did, it was pretty good. My opponent did not see it coming at all, and actually what won me this game. So just watch what I did. So I'm like, wait, my Marshal isn't pinned anymore. So that means I can just run it back here because my spy is holding the center, and he doesn't have any scouts left to get it. So I'm just like bring my Marshal down, and then this was another horrible move on his end. He should have traded majors much earlier. Like, he should have traded this, but now he can't. I can move it down. This major is toast. There's nothing he can do about it. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't trade majors there. It just confuses me because if he did, then he could have saved all these pieces. But yeah, horrible mistake on his end because that cost him to lose a major. But I mean, I'm not complaining. Yeah, so he hits the sergeant. That was a fair hit because it was between bombs. So yeah, that major is toast. Now I can go after these, and I'm gonna get one of these. So he goes in with the miner, so I'll just trade off because I don't want him like opening more bombs and then still trading off miners, and then he just self-destructs. And so that was actually a blind Marshal capture with the spy. I mean, technically, but the Marshal was like super obvious, so not really. But I mean, it was so. Yeah, I say amazing game because I think because I thought that play with the Marshal was super cool. Yeah, I was really proud of myself for that play, from thinking of that, and also he really messed up with that major because he could have traded off and it would have been totally fine. But this game is not over yet. It's pretty close to being over, but if he does like some sort of shenanigans and tricks me, then he still has a captain on me, so I gotta be careful. So now I'm evacuating the sergeant, and he can't load back rope. But I think he's done lobbying over here because he doesn't know like where my last bomb is. If I were him, I would try to like bait my major over here with the captain, and then maybe like come down here with the piece and here with the piece. And then I wouldn't know which one's his other captain, and I don't know, like I have to take a guess. So that's what I would do if I were him. Also, if I were me right now, I'll be getting this captain out. Oh yeah, so I do that. Yeah, so this game's basically wrapped up. But yeah. So I think the reason why I won this game is because it's because I think I just had a better board position than him. He got a little impatient and hit some pieces. Hit some pieces, even though he hit them with low ranking pieces, it still helped me a lot. And then also obviously when he messed up with this major. When he messed up with the major and he didn't trade with me earlier, that really messed him up. But yeah, I don't think I really played this game like badly, other than like if that miner in the center was the Marshal, then I could have lost my gen. But I think I played it pretty well. So yeah, I took that Louis with my captain because it moved, and then he just yeah, I'm trapping him here, and this is gonna be GG. Now he can't really do anything because this piece is pinned. This is probably the captain. You'd have to imagine it. And now panicking because if this was a captain and I didn't move this back, he could have won the game, but it was not, so we're fine. So yeah, that's his miner, and then this is probably the captain, and I'm guessing the sergeant is here. It's probably so it's bomb, flag, and then one of these two is a bomb, and the other one's a sergeant. And I surrenders here because both these pieces can't really do anything. So yeah, that was a pretty good game. I didn't do any like major mistakes, and only mistake he did was like that major. Yeah, I think I played quite well. I'm guessing like someone like Ron Federer could have like won the game way sooner than I did. Yeah, so we're almost silver captain on this account. Silver Louis and silver major, which is really good for me. I'm getting towards gold. I'll be there soon if I keep playing a lot of Stratego. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.